Hello everyone, I'm Dharti Chandramouli Yashoda, SAP consultant from Crypt Inc. Crypt is a leading SAP supply chain execution and compliance consulting services partner. Our focus is on helping businesses leverage the supply chain execution suite to gain a competitive advantage and increase their bottom line by offering services that include implementations, upgrades, and support. It is a one-stop shop for GTS, GRC, TM, EWM, and EM. Our consultants bring global knowledge and experience from over 10 industries. We have over 300,000 hours of consulting experience in SAP GTS, GRC, SCE. We have also provided solutions to various industries like chemical, finance, life sciences, wholesale, etc. We have a product named Whisker. It is a BI solution for supply chain operations. It can be connected with SAP components including GTS, EWM, TM, EM, etc. It can also be connected with non-SAP systems. As a part of Whisker implementation, we design, deploy, and manage the product, which mainly includes project planning, system design and implementation, post-go-live production support. For more information, please visit our website or send us an email at callcrypt@cryptinc.com. A demo will be presented by our SAP consultant on the following topic.
Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Naveen Nadapurohit, Lead SAP Transportation Management Consultant with Crypt Incorporated. And today in this Ready to Run Crypt series for system demonstration on SAP TM, I'll be taking you through a topic called as Uncontrolled Shipment. We'll be using SAP TM 9.1 for the system demo. This is the agenda. Initially, we will be going through the process overview, then the customizing and the master data setup required for the system setup, then the process demo, the summary of things that we have learned, and then the Crypt incorporated contact details. So initially we'll go through the process overview. What is uncontrolled shipment? So before we go to uncontrolled shipment, let us see what is a controlled shipment. Controlled shipment is a process wherein the freight forwarder will handle all the three carriages, likewise pre-carriage, main carriage, and the on carriage. He will subcontract and invoice all the three carriages. So the ordering party is only interacting with the freight forwarder and is not aware of the carrier who is physically transporting the goods from source location to the destination location. So this is a controlled shipment wherein the freight forwarder acts as a main entity who carries out the different transportation activities. But in uncontrolled shipment, the pre and the on carriage, only these two carriages are handled, subcontracted and invoiced by the freight forwarder. For the main carriage, there is a special agreement that is being set up between the ordering party and the carrier directly, without the interference of the freight forwarder. So the only role that the freight forwarder plays here in the uncontrolled shipment is to plan the main carriage with a carrier who is going to physically execute the goods. And appropriately, the charges will be calculated depending upon the special agreement that is existing between the ordering party and the carrier. So the freight forwarder does not interfere into the charge calculation activities, since the agreement does not hold him as one of the business partners in to calculate the charges. So he will only take care of pre and the on carriage. So this is what uncontrolled shipment is. So different customizing and the master data setup. A charge setup will be required. Initially we will be creating the calculation sheets, then the freight agreement, between the carrier and the purchasing organization, with the ordering party also being present in that agreement as the shipment is uncontrolled. And the next is the forwarding agreement. This will be the stage level calculation. So all the three different carriages will be calculated depending upon the TCCS that we have created for the three different carriages. Along with there will be a special entry for the uncontrolled shipment for the main carriage. So there will be two different entries for main carriage, one with the controlled shipment and one with the uncontrolled shipment. So depending upon how or what kind of shipment we are trying to execute, the different uh, charge calculation will happen depending upon the TCCS being picked. The next is the process demonstration. So before going through the process, we can go through the master data setup that I have set up for this particular scenario. Go to the calculation sheet. So in all, I have set up 5 different calculation sheets. So they go likewise. First is for the pre-carriage, then main carriage controlled shipment, main carriage uncontrolled shipment, and then the on-carriage. And then the one is for the booking that we will be creating for the main carriage, wherein the carrier and the ordering party will be interacting directly and not the freight forwarder's interference. So here you can see all the 5 different TCCS that I have created. I'll go to this uncontrolled shipment. So the calculation sheet ID, the description, and then the charge usage is both the customer as well as the service provider. That is the sales as well as the purchasing side. And I have maintained manual rates. Similarly, I've created the TCCS for all the other carriages. We can see everything in one single place in the forwarding and the freight agreement. Just navigate to forwarding agreement. I'll go to this display of the forwarding agreement. So this is the forwarding agreement ID. Oops. So here we can see the valid from and the valid to date. The agreement type is TL01. Here the organizational unit is the uncontrolled shipment forwarding house. And the business partner is 51, which is the uncontrolled shipment, which is even the ordering party. So here in the items for the TCCS, we can see there are 4 different entries. We can see in the description. First is for the pre-carriage TCCS, then the main carriage controlled shipment, main carriage uncontrolled shipment, and then for the on-carriage TCCS. The important part here is to maintain the stage category. Since this is the stage level calculation, appropriately it will try to verify what all stages are present in the forwarding order, and then appropriately pick the TCCS and its relevant calculation details to calculate the charges. And here, apart from the controlled, for the one entry which is for the main carriage uncontrolled shipment, we will just uncheck the checkbox for the controlled shipment and then provide the carrier and the external freight agreement ID that acts as a reference for this document to verify. So this is how the forwarding agreement setup will be done. So next I'll go to the freight agreement. So this is the freight agreement for the uncontrolled shipment scenario. Similarly, the valid from and the valid to date, the agreement type. Here the external reference number will be given. Then the ordering party, since we have unchecked the checkbox for controlled shipment, you will have to give the external freight agreement, which acts as a reference in order to identify the agreement to be picked for charge calculation when it is an uncontrolled shipment, which we'll be giving in the forwarding order while calculating the charges. So once we have unchecked this checkbox for controlled, both the ordering party as well as the external freight agreement, these tabs will get enabled so that we can populate the data that we want. Then the organizational unit, which is the uncontrolled shipment forwarding house, and then the business partner, which is the carrier in this case, that is the United Parcel Service, which will be physically executing the shipment. And in the TCCS item tab, we can see we have maintained one calculation sheet for uncontrolled shipment, and that's it. So this is how the setup for the freight agreement goes. So now we'll go into the forwarding order and give a process demo. So the first and the foremost step is to create a forwarding order. I already have an existing forwarding order, which I'll just copy, and then we can just glance through the relevant details of those forwarding order. So I'll just copy this particular forwarding order. Close this one. So first I'll go to the general data tab of this forwarding order. So here we can see the sales organization maintained this uncontrolled shipment forwarding house. So here I have unchecked the checkbox for controlled shipment, and I have appropriately given the external freight agreement that was maintained in the freight agreement when we had created the freight agreement for the uncontrolled shipment. Then the general terms, the service level is 01, mode of transportation is C, traffic direction it is export, shipment type is less than container load, and the movement type is door to door. And I've inserted one product of type TLPD, and I've appropriately given the quantity details for the same. With gross weight as 25 kg and gross volume as 3 cubic meters. Next, I will go to the business partner tab. So here I can see I have maintained the ordering party as 51 as well as the shipper. Then the consignee is customer 3, and I also maintained the carrier as UPS. Since the carrier detail has to be given as it is an uncontrolled shipment, because the ordering party and the carrier will be directly interacting for the main carriage. So the carrier relevant details have to be brought into the forwarding order and not directly into the execution document like freight order. So once we have maintained the carrier as UPS, we'll go to the locations and dates tab and maintain the pickup and the delivery date. The location details will be directly populated after we maintain the business partner. So the pickup date is 30th September and delivery date is 5th of October. Now we'll navigate to the stages tab. So here in the stages tab, we'll change the dates accordingly. Here we can see that there are 3 different stages: pre-carriage or the pickup, main carriage, and then the on carriage or the delivery. So I will change the dates accordingly for the 3 stages. So I appropriately change the dates for the 3 stages. And for the main carriage, we will have to maintain the carrier details, that is United Parcel Service. I'll just check this document and then just click on save. It gives the success message telling that the data has been saved successfully. So here we have a forwarding order for uncontrolled shipment, which we have created, ending with 346. We can verify whether the freight units have been created for this forwarding order or not. Just navigate here to the end. Here we can see that there's a freight unit ending with 129, which has been created for this particular forwarding order. The next step is we'll select the main carriage and then just click on freight document and click on create. So here in the pop-up, it shows all the relevant details like the freight booking type, which is BC, the carrier, which is UPS, the consolidation to be done at source and the destination location, and the pickup and the delivery date and the location. We'll just click on OK and just click on save. So it gives you a success message telling that data has been saved successfully. We will navigate to the right, and here we can check that there is a freight booking that has been created ending with 116 for the main carriage, with the means of transport being C and the carrier being a United Parcel Services, which is going to physically execute the transportation. So the next step is we will calculate the charges in this forwarding order. I will navigate to the charges tab. Click on edit. And then from this drop down for calculate charges, we'll select this particular option as calculate charges. So it gives me a success message telling that the charge calculation has been completed successfully. I'll just click on save in order to save the document. So now if I will navigate to the charges tab, here we can see that there are 3 different stages. That is the pre-carriage, the main carriage and the on-carriage, for which the charge has been calculated differently. We are interested in checking the agreement or the TCCS line item which it has picked for the calculation of the main carriage. Since we have given the main carriage as uncontrolled shipment, it has to appropriately pick the uncontrolled shipment calculation sheet. We'll just select the charge line item and just click on show and hide details. So here we can see that the calculation, it has picked the uncontrolled shipment, that is UCS, that is which is being denoted by, and appropriately it has calculated the charge that has been maintained in that particular calculation sheet, that is 250 euros. Likewise, we can check for pre-carriage as well as for the on-carriage, the data that it has picked. I'll select the pre-carriage charge line item. And here we can see that it has picked the calculation sheet with ending with PC, that is for pre-carriage. And then we can likewise check for on-carriage. Here it is ending with OC, that is denoting that the calculation sheet it has picked for charge calculation is for on-carriage. Thus it didn't pick the controlled shipment main carriage because the forwarding order which we had created was for uncontrolled shipment. And appropriately it has picked up the uncontrolled shipment scenario. So now we will be navigating to the freight booking. And I'll go to the document flow tab. Just click on this ocean booking 6250 and 116. We will go to the General Data tab. We click on Edit. Here we will change the purchasing organization to 125, which is the Uncontrolled Shipment Forwarding House. We can check the carrier as UPS, United Parcel Services. Go to the Business Partner tab. Carrier has been maintained correctly, as well the shipper and the consignee, and then the executing carrier, which is UPS in this case. We'll go to the Charges tab and then just click on Calculated Charges. So the charge calculation completed success message is given. Here we can see the charges which has been calculated is from the correct freight agreement and the calculation sheet or not. We'll just select the charge line item and then just click on Show Hide Details. So here we can see the agreement is freight agreement uncontrolled shipment, and the calculation sheet is ending with FP, which is for the freight booking. So it has correctly picked the agreement as well as the calculation sheet for charge calculation in the ocean booking. And just click on Save. So this ocean booking is an agreement between the ordering party and the carrier, for which the charges they have come up to a common consensus, and the carrier United Parcel Services is executing it on behalf of the ordering party. Only the planning for this is done by the freight forwarder. The charge calculation will be done based upon the agreement between the ordering party and the carrier. I'll go to follow up and create the freight settlement document for the same. Just come here to the General Data tab. Change the settlement document type to TL02. It's a freight settlement. Then just click on Check Document. It gives me a success message telling that the freight settlement document is consistent. We can check the purchasing organization is Uncontrolled Shipment Forwarding House, and the charge details is 500 euros, which is correct. And just click on Save and Transfer. So this freight settlement is the settlement that is happening on the charges between the ordering party and the carrier. I'll navigate to the Status tab. So it has created a settlement document with 98. It gives me a life cycle status as transferred for accruals, and it is just pending for the confirmation from the SAP ERP system. Just click on Refresh. We can verify in the monitor transaction the current status. I will log into the ECC system. is giving me the message that it is scheduled for execution. You can just click on refresh. You can see here the status. It is running. So the next step will be the change in the life cycle status for this freight settlement. So it will give me a life cycle status as accruals posted, which means the end of the freight settlement. I mean, the freight settlement has been actually settled in the ERP system between the ordering party and the carrier. That was the end of demo. So the next is the summary. Um, what did we learn in this particular session? How the uncontrolled shipment happens. I mean, who are all the different business partners or the entities that will be interacting in the uncontrolled shipment? The freight forwarder in the control shipment will not be acting as the main business partner for the main carriage in the uncontrolled shipment, and how the charges will be calculated. The master data setup that has to be set in the system for the particular process to work fine. And last but not the least, the contact details. So this is the crypt website, cryptinc.com, and you can also mail us at callcrypt@cryptinc.com if you have any further information or further queries which we have to address. This is a serious venture that Crypt Incorporated is taking into account, and there will be further more videos for information on different functionalities in SAP TM. So just watch out. Thank you.